For me, writing a piece of content is like creating a piece of art. I tirelessly massage the words and the feelings inside of each piece, attempting to convey that specific sense to the reader. Not just information or an attempt at persuasion, but a feeling. Since 2011, I've been crafting words that resonate, connect, and transform. And honestly, I didn't realize that I was mastering something when I first started back in 2011. The funny thing is, upon reflection, I've actually created thousands, I'm not even exaggerating, thousands of videos for the coaching businesses that we've had. But honestly, I must have written more than 10 times the amount versus video, which is just crazy to think about. And that's a combination of things that I've written for our businesses as well as other people's. Offers, client celebrations, personal shares, transformations, sales posts, scripts, emails, you name it, I have run my fingers through those words, poured my heart into those words, and meticulously laid my eyes over how it all gets strung together and how it flows. And again, very honestly, and I think this is great feedback for myself to really listen to, have I realized how much I adore, not even love, how much I adore writing. It's that one thing that I can do anytime, I can do anywhere without being crude or place. I can wake up naked in our bed on a morning and I can write. I don't need to be visually prepped. Perhaps I do for a video. If inspiration strikes, wherever that is, I can pick my phone up, or I can just grab a pen, a piece of paper, or if I'm near a whiteboard, I can grab a scribe and just get to work. You know what I mean? And that's the funny thing. I always thought that my videos were the thing that had netted us most profit over all these years of running our businesses. But honestly, that's not been the case whatsoever. It's actually been my writing skills. Millions produced for us, our clients, which is fucking crazy when I think about it. Some things I wanted to share, in this video is, I guess, what I've discovered over the years of writing and just generally refining my approach. I don't claim to be a copywriting teacher. I have never formally done any training on copywriting at all. It is just something that I loved starting to do. I've always loved putting sentences together, writing by hand. I used to write a lot of poems when I was younger. And then when I was doing videos, I would watch my own videos back meticulously and I would replay the words that I was using. And I would think, if that was laid out on a page, how would that come across? The pace that I was sharing things at, the tonality that I was using. How can I turn all of that into something that could go onto an article or written piece for social media? And again, this might not be a new thing to some of you watching this, but I realized that powerful, impactful type of writing, it's not just random inspiration. Now, the inspiration that comes to do the writing, absolutely, that can land at any time. Personally, I'm deeply inspired just by my travels through my general day, through my powerful interactions that I have with our clients, through my relationship, through the relationship with my children, whoever I come into contact with. That is what inspires the feeling for that particular day, that week, that month, or whatever the theme might be. But these impactful and powerful writings, they follow I won't say a pattern, but I think a number of distinctive patterns. And these, I guess, are frameworks that I've unconsciously developed, that I've unconsciously practiced, and eventually, dare I say, not in an egotistical way, but I feel like I've mastered. In recent years, in the coaching business that we have now, when people have come to work with us, they've usually been drawn in by the words that I've written. So there's typically a style that people are attracted to, and then I teach them back. It's quite a challenging thing to do because I don't have an official framework, so to speak, of how I do write. But I look at somebody's content of what they've already written, and I show them how they can improve it. And that might be a minor tweak to just a piece that they've sent over or something they've shared in their client folder. But often I've found myself writing completely from scratch for our clients as well, because nobody knows them as well as I do, their voice, their style, and the person that they actually want to attract. And I often know that stuff better than they know themselves because of the level of intimacy that we have inside of the coaching relationship. And watching them succeed with that copy that I've either tweaked or written from scratch is deeply satisfying. Posts that generate inquiries, emails that just get opened by complete strangers, their words finally having the impact that they desired in the first place, all because they found their true authentic voice through writing. Like I said, I never started as a writer. That was never my intent, to have an internet-based business or even the physical businesses that we've had and create articles, blogs, social media posts or anything like that. It was just a necessity. It was something that I had to do because business needed marketing in some shape or form. And again, I'll hold my hands up to this, and if you've followed my stuff for any amount of time, you'll know that I didn't do a great deal of school. And the grades that I got at school were abysmal. Actually, when I wanted to join the military, I had to go back to school and complete these childlike level qualifications just to be able to join the military because I didn't have the required level to go in the first place. So I'm not an English major, a literature specialist. And I certainly didn't get any awards during my time at school for writing, reading, or anything like that. And there's a lot of message in there, I think. If you want to write, but maybe going through school and the writing and the things that you were taught there just weren't any fun. For me personally, my ability to write well and make money from it and then help others and have deep transformational impact through the words that I've written comes from a sense of, I want to help people. I want them to feel a certain way so they will want to change their lives for the better. And that one pursuit has had me on this merry-go-round of just try again, make this better. What happened last time? How many people inquired from that post that you've written? How many people bought that thing when you put that offer together? Constant reiterations of things. I turned it into a game, a really fun game. Not just because it produced money either. I think the deep creative and artistic side of me thoroughly enjoys seeing how many people like laying their eyes over the thing that I've put together. And also, all of the things that I write come from a very deep personal perspective on my own experiences. And sure, there are probably a whole bunch of people on the internet and in different places where you can go and learn how to be a writer, how to be a copywriter. But my perspective with writing, just like a lot of things in life, I think there's a lot of untapped world-class talent of people out there that are not trying things based on the notion or the idea that they have to go through conventional channels to learn about something. Rather than just moving towards that thing and trying it and just polishing their own way of doing it up over time, through trial and error, through reiterations. And the other thing that I've personally benefited from doing a lot of writing over the years is it's almost an outlet for personal therapy, because you get to sit and think about the thing that you're writing on, the subject matter, the person, the situation, the transformation, the thing you're trying to sell, the offer that you're putting together. And there are more times than I can count on both hands and both feet of where I've been so moved by what I'm writing and what's coming out of me creatively, it's made me cry. And my wife won't be surprised by that because, Disney films, get me. And I realise I've been sat really close to the lens for this whole video. This has been like round the campfire listening to a story by Rich. I think if I was to try and give you some takeaways from this rambling, would be if you want to get into writing, or if you want to improve upon your writing to make it be more impactful, to turn more of the people that are reading your thing into buyers, customers, clients, followers, advocates, of who you are and what you offer. I would suggest you look at your writing as if you're actually sat or stood speaking to that person. We don't speak to each other in huge paragraphs. That was the big thing that stood out to me straight away. And a deeper part of my background comes from being a communication expert, selling things from being very young, and then selling things for other people for a lot of years as well. An influence with the written word versus what we're doing here with each other is almost exactly the same. There's a cadence and a natural rhythm that great writing that carries that influence has baked inside of it. Don't try to over manufacture particular words into your content or your copy if you don't naturally speak that way. Find that authentic and real voice. If you swear a lot, like I do, swear. Don't cut it out. If you're trying to influence a particular person, if it's to come and join your business, to come and work with you, use your natural language. Talk the way that you normally talk. Because otherwise, if I didn't swear in my content, people would be shocked when they came to work with me because I can be a bit of a potty mouth. And then the other thing that's always paid dividends over the years when I've written something is rereading that thing a few times, reading it back at a different pace each time as well. Does it flow and follow within each other? Does it actually make sense? Does one bit lead nicely onto the next, or is it all disjointed because you've thought it sounds good up here, but when it's been turned into written word, it looks an absolute mess? And I guess the last piece of advice would be to think about, what's the actual purpose of this for? Is it just a thought that you had? Share it. Great. If it doesn't carry much more purpose than that, have fun with it. If it's to try and influence a certain person, why? What's the influence inside of that thing going to look like? Most of all, you've got to have fun with it. If you don't have fun, like, if you're trying to get great at selling, or if you're trying to get great as a coach, or if you're trying to get, great at writing, if you don't have fun, then you won't stick to it long term. And sticking to something long term and being consistent is the only way that you will actually get good enough to reap reward from it. And again, I don't just mean financial reward. I mean the reward of writing something that is so powerful that it changes somebody's mind, or it gives them a new perspective on themselves or the world. Anyway, hope this gave you some insight. Maybe it gave you a little bit something to chew down on. Maybe you want to do a little bit more writing, whatever that looks like. Let me know if this has been useful. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.